Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today we are making a mini pop and twist card. Now, Lynn Finley, who is a subscriber and a friend, sent me a video link to a mini pop and twist card that was done in another language. And I don't have a clue what exactly the measurements were that this lady used. So what I did was I kind of figured out how to make this little pop and twist card using a 3x3 card base. So that's what I'm going to base mine off. It's basically my bigger pop and twist scaled down to a 3x3. And it was super cute the way the other lady did it, but I just couldn't understand it. So first you're going to need a 3" by 6" card base. When we fold this in half, this will be a 3x3 card. All right. Then for your pop and twist mechanism, I'm going to do this with the kind of full sheet method like I did before. For this one, you need a piece that is 5.5 by 5. Right. So for the piece in the middle, you'll need a piece that is 1 3/4 by 5. So that is the sizes you're going to need, and I'll put those dimensions below. Before I do anything, I want to prep this card. I want this to be a wood grain piece of paper. I think that's cute and looks very Valentine-y. And gosh, it's just gonna work. Okay, I just wanted to test that out. This is that Do Crafts full background wood grain stamp. I'm just gonna tell you something. If you're a stamper, you need this in your collection. I have used this so much. I reach for it all the time. I'm really surprised by how much I reach for it. I can't think of a card I can't use it on, and I can think of 1,000 different ways to use it that I even haven't gotten to yet. So this one is the wood grain. They also come in a brick and some other ones, but they're just so good. I'll link all my supplies below, by the way. All right, I'm going to lay this onto that inked section. Then I'm going to put a scrap piece down to protect my hand. A piece here, so I don't get a bunch of ink on me, and then transfer it to my card. All right, so let's lift this guy up, and it will be wood grain. Look how cute. I love it. Okay, wood grain and hearts and stuff are perfect for Valentine's. Now then, I'm also going to score this little guy right in the middle and fold it and make it our card base. Fold it over. Might should wait a minute for that VersaFine ink to dry because that is what I use, but I'm pushing it today, and I'm going to crease it just like that. So this is the size our card will be when we finish, and then it's going to have the pop-up in it. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the score marks, but in my last video when I showed you the pop and twist card, I did it on white paper and it was hard for you to see, so I went back and did it with a marker. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do it with a marker today to show you your marks, and then we'll go make the piece together in a few minutes that's actually going in my card. So with your 5" piece in the scoreboard, this is your 5" by 5.5". We're laying it on the 5" side in our scoreboard. We're going to score, not write, you're going to score, but I'm going to write today. At 1 1/4, all the way down, score it. At 2 1/2, all the way down. And then at 3 3/3. Don't worry, I'll have all of these dimensions written for you. Then we're going to turn it into our scoreboard on the 5.5 side, and we're going to score at 2, at 2 3/4, and at 3 1/2. Again, I'll put all these measurements below, but it's going to look like this, okay? This is the top and this is the side. Remember, yours will be score marks, so you won't see these marks on your card. I'm just doing it like this for you to be able to see it. So this is the scored piece. These pieces here are going to be the mat for the card, and remember, you won't have these black lines. This is just how it'll be scored. Now, when we cut this, I want to cut it on this piece, and then we're going to do it on the other. We're going to cut along the outside black line on this side, okay? Then it'll be a score line when you cut it. Then I'm going to come in just a tiny bit, like maybe 1/4 inch or somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4. And I'm going to cut at an angle to this line, and I'll show you what we end up with that. Let me lay it on the black so you can see it. See how that looks? It just is kind of saving a step to go ahead and cut that little angle. You don't have to do it. You can just cut straight on this line like this, and then straight on this line like this, and then come back and take that bulk out. But it's just kind of saving a step and not having to do this little angle cut if you go ahead and do it. That just keeps you from having too much bulk on the mechanism when it is holding the little piece in the middle. All right, so here we go. Angled to that cross section, cut this piece away. And then I'm going to angle to this cross section and cut this piece away. And that will become the mechanism in the card. It'll be like that. Now, to make the mechanism work. It's the very same thing we did on the big card, but in miniature, okay? So what I'll do is I'm going to take this line and I'm going to fold it to this line. What the tip is, the trick is you want to make sure, let me find my bone folder, I laid it down. The trick is you want to make sure that you fold at this cross section, okay? And you'll know because you can just do it kind of like this and get that to fold right at the middle cross and then line that line up with the other one. And I'll show you, let me crease that down. Also, go ahead and do your creasing on this, okay? If you don't have a bone folder, just use a ruler or a pin top, just crease it. So you see here how my fold line goes right through that center cross section. That's the trick. So when you come back to the other side, you can take a ruler or a bone folder or whatever you've got, put it on that cross section, push to the fold, see that? And then line up your line at the bottom. And that is what's going to get you the right movement. Okay. Now the next thing you need to do is this score line in the middle, you need to fold it. Now this is not going to fold well because it's not scored. Well, I did score it, didn't I? It did fold really well. All right, so now then this mechanism will operate, and here's how it goes. These guys go in, those little arms go in, and then you close this little guy down, and then you crease it. Just like that, okay? Now, I changed the measurements on this one a little bit so that you would not worry about this hanging off the edge. When I did mine, I had it where it came right to the edge, but some people were telling me theirs were hanging off the edge. If that happens to you, just trim away what hangs off. It won't matter, and that way you'll know that you can hide it inside of there. But these guys are going to be a little bit shorter than the big card we do. So there we go. That's the mini version. How cute, right? Okay, let me take the real piece of paper. This is my real piece that's going on the inside. And let's score it. And I'm going to let you watch me make this. So if you want to fast forward this part, go right ahead because you've already seen it done. But I think it's important to see this done without the line so you'll know. So with my 5-inch side in my scoreboard, I'm going to score it 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and 3 3/4. Then I'm going to turn it to the 5 1/2-inch side. And on the 5 1/2-inch side, I'm going to score at 2, 2 3/4 right here, and then 3 1/2 right here. So this is the same scoring we did. You can kind of see it on there, right? Just like we did on the white piece. Now let's do our trimming again. And again, I'm going to do that angle cut I showed you. So I'm going to cut to that first cross section. I'm just going to go ahead and do that on both of these sides really quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to see that section anyway when we get done. And then, now this is where you want to work on your straight line cutting. This piece is going to show, this is going to be the mat of our card. So you do want to cut this as straight as you can. You can put this in your trimmer if you feel like you need to. I'm just going to eyeball it. So there's that. And I'm actually cutting right inside the score mark. So I'm cutting the score mark off the page, not cutting in the valley of the score mark. I'm cutting it off the page. Whatever way works for you. I think it looks cleaner when you don't have it on the page. There we go. Okay, now I'm doing the same fold I just did, and I can see my score mark. So here's my center point. So I'm going to hold this little dude here, lift it up to that center point, and then I'm going to line up this score line with this score line. It's so easy when you do, you know, when you've done this a time or two. Once you work it out the first time, you're going to be like, oh, that is so easy. There's that. Open it back up. Okay, so my crosshair goes right through the middle. All right, and then I'm going to grab this one, push it to that center, and then line this score line up with this score line. Good deal. And crease. Now I'm using cardstock here, so I really want to crease this really well because I want it to fold and open correctly. Now here, that middle point, I'm going to fold that middle line back and I'm going to crease it. Now when we go to shut it, it already wants to shut on its own. Do you see that little mechanism closing for us? How cute is that little dude? So cute. Now I want to show you this. In your folding, in your creasing, in your scoring, you may get a little off on one end. This is a tiny bit off. I'm going to trim it away and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to trim this piece off And then when I put this into my card, it'll be centered because I'm going to center it in the middle. And I'm not going to stress about that little bit that wasn't right. Okay? That happens when you're like, maybe you don't cut it perfectly square, or you don't score it perfectly straight, or you don't trim it perfectly straight. Those things are going to happen. So we're not going to stress about it. So now to the card base. This is my card base. Remember, we stamped it earlier. And I'm going to now glue this guy in. And I'm going to take the point and line it up at that score line, not crossing it, but right at the score line, okay? And then I'm just going to make sure this is kind of squared all the way around and even. Then I'm going to take my glue. You could use sticky tape here. You could use whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to just glue this into place. Fold this guy over and catch it. And when I do that, it's actually adhering it to the top portion. And I can flip it over, and then I can glue the other side down. And now, look at there, we have the little mini version of our Pop and Twist. This is super cute. It is perfect for Valentine's. Now we need to decorate it. Now for my little strip that's going to go across the center, I'm going to use this. I was going to use white, but I changed my mind. So this is 1 3/4 by 5 inches, and here's how we're going to prep it. We're going to fold it in half like so. And then we're going to crease that with our bone folder really well, because you want this guy to really open and close well. So I'm going to fold it one way, turn it back on itself, and I'm going to crease it the other way. If you're using thinner paper, you won't have to do that as much. All right, so now I'm going to open it. Now this is important because the way we need this to be folded, here's how we're going to do it. This is our center score. We're going to take this little outside edge, and we're going to fold it to that center score line, right to it. Press it down and crease. All right, and I'm going to do it both ways again, like so, and then bring it back. That's just to make sure this will bend really well. Then on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold this piece to the middle. Whoops, I might be off a little bit. Crease it down, fold it back on itself, and crease it. I'm using a thicker cardstock. You wouldn't have to do this with just a thin paper. Now when you're ready to put this into your card, you want to make sure you have it folded like this, kind of accordion style, okay? So that's how it's going to go into our card. It'll fit something like this, okay? So when we close it and open it, it'll hide inside and then open up for us. So we need to decorate this. This thing is super cute. So I have these stickers that came from my Blowing Kisses paper pack, which I think is so cute. These little stickers are 4 little pendants that will say XOXO when the card's opened, and I think that'll be cute on the inside. So I'm just sticking these down to a little piece of white paper. This white paper is 1.5 by 1, and I really just measured the squares after I'd folded them on that little strip for the middle and took 1/4 of an inch off so I could mat these and put them inside. I think that'll be super cute. Those are precious. And now they're going to get mounted here. So I've got this folded correctly. I'm going to put some glue on the back. And these will get centered right inside that little section. And now you'll see why I cut the little white pieces 1/4 of an inch smaller. So you'll be able to see some of that red around the edges. See how cute that is? Love it. Okay. I'm enjoying doing these miniature crafts. I think it's fun. Maybe that's the new thing, tiny. I don't know. But I have a question. Last year I did a little mailbox. If you remember, it was a real simple, easy Valentine mailbox. Would you like to see that one done in miniature? I've been thinking that would be cute if you wanted to give out small candies. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that one in miniature. All right, we're ready to put this guy into our card. How stinking cute is that? Let's glue it in. Now, when you glue this in, for this mechanism to work, you have to put glue at the top section above that middle score line here, and then at the bottom section below that middle score line on this side. That's so it'll cross over, okay? So then you can also, help you out, line that center up with that center score line here that we had in the middle, okay? And then just crease, just lay this guy into that glue on both sides. So we're going the top on one side, the bottom on the other. Then let that dry before you start messing with it too much. So basically, this end should be loose, okay, on one side, and the top should be loose on the other side. Does that make sense? That is so cute. Okay, I want to find another sticker to put here. I took the sticker from here. It says, I love you. And I think it's too big for this little spot that I want to put it in. So what I'm going to do is trim it down. So I'm just going to trim some of the frilly edge off and leave a little bit of that pink. Don't be afraid to adjust these stickers to what you want. They're great for this because they're kind of cardstock thickness. So it works great to trim them here and there. I think I might leave that bottom little frilly edge because I think it'll fit now. Sure will. So it says, I love you there. And I might put something up top. Just have a couple of little hearts I'm going to put up there. There's one. And here's another. You could stamp like crazy. You could add all kinds of things from your stamp set. There's no telling what you can do with these minis. They're super cute. So there it is, and now it's closing. Isn't that cute? I think it's adorable. Now mine is scrubbing a tiny bit when I shut it. Listen to how it sounds. Hear that little scrub? If yours is doing that, you can take this little square piece here, close it up, and corner round it to take a little bit of the bulk out right here. I didn't do that ahead of time, and it is closing, so I think it's going to be fine. The more I do it, the better it gets, so I'm not going to stress about that, but I am going to crease it down a little better because it's pretty bulky, because I put some big, thick stuff in there. And now I'm going to put something on the front. I'm going back to those stickers like crazy. I'm going to put this sticker across here. This is an arrow. Isn't that cute? And then I had this heart. I'm going to put this heart right inside of that little arrow. Look how cute that is. That is adorable to me. I love it. And what a sweet little card. I'm so glad Lynn asked me to try to do this because it was a challenge to get it smaller, but it's a lot of fun and it's really super cute. If you make this at home, I'm gonna mention something. I want to show you how thick mine is. Can you see how thick that is? If you don't want the thickness, just make sure this is a thinner paper that you use. You could probably even use like a really thin 65-pound cardstock or something even thinner, but I did use a kind of thick cardstock there. So if you want it to be flatter, you need to think about that. Plus I added stickers, but I think this is cute and you can stick it into a little envelope. And this will fit into one of the smaller envelopes and you can make an envelope yourself using your envelope punch board. Super cute. Thank you for that idea. Let me know if y'all want to see that mailbox done in miniature. I think it would be super cute for Valentine's treats. And anything else, you guys, I like whenever you challenge me. So if you have something you want me to try to do, show me what you got. Hey, if you make these, guys, we want to see them over on our Facebook page, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I. So share photos with us of what you're doing and get inspired. There's all kinds of inspiration on that page. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. Talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.